Hello, I'm Ingrid Estrella. Welcome to Inside City, an interview show produced by the students of San Diego City College. Each week, we're talking to the newsmakers of the campus. Today, we're going to be talking to the Vice President of Administrative Services, John Parker. But first, we're going to give an intro to the new housing project taking place here at City College. Let's take a look.
This lot was once the home of San Diego City College's Child Development Center, and with state funding lined up, it could soon be home to over 600 students, employees, and potentially even to San Diego residents unaffiliated with the college. If the planning phase goes right and City is able to secure over $100 million for building, this block may eventually become an affordable high-rise residence overlooking the many less affordable options downtown. A unit in this building could cost a student one-third of the market rate, which could mean rents at under $830. Overseeing the project is John Parker, City's Vice President of Administrative Services, and for him this is a good start to address issues of housing insecurity for students at City College. Management of the property will most likely be outsourced to a third party, with market rate units included as an incentive for the potential client. With critical decisions still to be made, City College will be situating itself amidst the many potential answers to affordable housing in San Diego. This is Philip Salata, City Times Media.
Hi, John. We're really excited to be talking with you today.
Thank you for having me.
And San Diego City College has never offered housing to its students. What inspired the move to create this opportunity?
The inspiration for this opportunity was to address some of the housing insecurities of many of our students and the homelessness that some of our students have faced in the past. In a Real College survey in 2020, 64% of students, city students, responded that they had experienced housing insecurity in the prior year, and 20% responded that they had experienced some form of homelessness.
Yeah, no, the conversation about housing is really big today. So the Higher Education Student Grant program was approved and will provide funding for City College to start the planning process of building off-campus housing. Can you tell us what makes City College deserving of this grant?
What makes City College deserving of this grant are a couple of things. One, our students to address those with housing insecurities and some form of homelessness, and the market rates in our area. We are in San Diego, prime real estate. Anywhere from our campus, we're viewing apartments that are $1 million and up with rents of up to $4,000. So there's a huge need for our population.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, living downtown is really expensive. And we understand that student success is a huge motivator for this project. Could you tell us more about how this housing project ties into student success?
Yes, absolutely. Studies show nationally that students who reside in campus housing, campus apartments, be it on campus or off campus, experience a higher rate of persistence and graduation and graduate.
That's great. And because of the tight deadline for proposals, the administration had to scramble to get an application in. What was the process like for putting together the proposal?
Yes, you're right. Actually, it takes months usually for this type of application, and we were able to pivot in about 3 weeks. So the process entailed working with an architect on renderings, a feasibility analysis, impact assessment, and also conducting market analysis, market research on current housing as we had to offer based on a formula provided by the state, approximately 30% of the local market rate for housing.
Mhm. Great. And there are several avenues in which buildings can be funded. Can you walk us through the different paths City College is considering?
Yes, certainly. One would be the SB 169. It's a $2 billion program for higher education student housing grant program, that is, over the next 3 years, of which $500 million was granted for this year, and that is for planning and construction, and $750 million for the two subsequent years. There's also a P3. It's called a P3 private partnership, private public partnership, in which we would work with a local developer. And this can also be a grant initiative in 2024 as part of our facility master plan that we are wrapping up now. We have included housing as a recommendation.
Okay. And I'm curious about the building that used to be the Child Development Center that sits on that corner. What went into choosing the location for the new housing?
Oh, it was easy, just the availability of that lot. And it's very fortuitous in the timing with the Early Education Center, formerly the CDC, which was moved over to the contiguous part of the campus. And now that lot is vacant, the building is vacant, and just to the south of that is the parking lot that that's currently being used. So that entire block will be used, the north side and perhaps the east side, for student housing. Right in the middle would be district administrative offices, and just to the south on C Street will be market rate housing.
That's great. And we are going to take a little break here. Stay with New Scene.
Dad?
Just 1 minute, okay?
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Do clouds take naps?
I couldn't tell you.
Can birds draw pictures?
I don't have an answer for that.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
And welcome back to Insight City. We're back with our guest, John Parker. So what type of living situation can future students expect? Are we looking at shared space, one bedroom, single space with another person in the room?
A good question. It'll be a combination of all of the above. There will be single residency occupants, or SROs, and there will be multi-resident. The initial proposal was one 16-story building with approximately 615 beds with 210 units. So the occupancy would be 1 to 4 with an apartment or dorm style apartment for those multi-use.
Okay. And one bedroom apartments in the student housing complex will be around $830 a month. That's a very specific number. How did you land on that?
Doing our market analysis, which was required by the state when we submitted our application. So we discovered that the average rate here in downtown was approximately $2,800 for a one bedroom. Some upwards of 4,000, as I mentioned, and some a little lower, but the average being 2,800. And so through the formula provided by the state, it worked out to be about $820 or so. And that is the max. So we can actually offer lower rents.
Wow, yeah, no, $830 a month sounds like a dream here in San Diego.
Yes.
So many students rely on financial aid to support themselves. How is the student housing project going to impact students' financial aid, and will it make them ineligible to receive certain funds and grants?
I don't know that it'll make them ineligible. It just depends on, one, their need and expected family contribution. So there may be some impact, but we haven't actually discussed how that'll impact students going forward. Once they do apply, we know that they'll have to be active full-time students.
And going off of being active full-time students, what kind of students are eligible to apply?
We will be given priority, of course, to low-income students, which will include single parents, foster youth, if you will, justice impact, and justice impacted students, as well as our veteran population.
Yeah, house or childcare for single parents is big, and going off of that, it's an obstacle for students who are also, you know, parents and trying to um, make school work. And you mentioned including a family resource center in your facility master plan. Can you talk more about that?
Yes, absolutely. We'll work in conjunction with our early education center to provide a family resource center or parent support center on the main campus, which is now near the D building or the bookstore. And we'll also have a component in student housing, in our student housing residence as
Mm,
well.
great. And San Diego Community College District Chancellor Carlos Turner Cortez has been very vocal about his desire to create student housing on the SDCCD campuses. How was support from the district officials affected? How did it affect the housing plans at City?
Oh, actually, it was a positive impact. Definitely helped escalate the project as we would like to build housing on all of the campus. We're just fortunate to have identified space already that is available
Mm,
and shovel ready right away.
that's great. No, that's really exciting. I know a lot of students are going to be excited about this. So, when should we be expecting the project to wrap up and be available?
Well, we're looking right now. We did receive the grant funding of 300. I'm sorry, not the grant funding for planning of $344,000. So we're working with consultants right now on the schematic designs, the location, and to help us with the bid process. We expect to start within the next 2 or 3 years, shovels in the ground. And in terms of completing the project, it could take up to 18 months.
Hmm. Right. Well, John, thank you for joining us. This was a great conversation. We really appreciate your time, and we're looking forward to seeing the developments of this project.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
And that's all we have tonight for this edition of Inside City. Remember to follow SD City Times on Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram. Thank you for joining us, and good night.